be able to do this better than I will, but just wanted to give you guys some history. We had a workshop back in the day before, all of this COVID stuff happened, and we were all doing in-person workshops where we had that chocolate tasting way back then, and we loved it so much. We were so impressed with what we learned through doing that, about the quality of the products and about what a difference it makes, when you're purchasing from a small business and love is one of the ingredients in the product. And so yeah, it's really great to see you. So it's not in person. And if you could tell us a little bit about what you do and get us started here.
Well, good afternoon. That was quite an introduction. It's hard to believe that the time, has gone so fast. That was like what, 2 years ago or a year? 2020 doesn't count for anybody. I guess we go way back in time, and yeah, that's what we do. And by then it was a tasting, educating some of you. By now it's way more people, and this is actually something that we've been doing since 2020, since the pandemic hit. We've been able to pivot a little bit and do a lot of online classes and online tastings, just like the one you're gonna experience right now. So I think by this week we hit the 8,500 mark as far as attendees. So it keeps us really, really, really busy, and definitely, every day making new friends, which is what it's all about. Sharing the knowledge, sharing the passion about chocolates, of course, local business, and, having fun, which is what I'm gonna ask you to have fun. And for the next hour, just relax and let's get to learn a lot. Let's recap a little bit what you guys received before we start the tasting. Don't panic. We're gonna be eating chocolate in just 1 second, okay? And here's what we're gonna do. The chocolate tasting kit that was mailed to every single one of you contains a box of chocolates, brownies, samples of cacao beans. These are not almonds. These are samples for you to crack open and experience the tasting with me. And what's going to be the event, the chocolate tasting kit. What's fun, if there's any of the teachers that participated in my tasting before, this is a whole new story, okay? All our different farms, everything is new origins, new places, which is really cool. Now, let's make a deal. If you have any questions, please make sure you either let me know via the chat and I can answer the questions. We have quite a few attendees in the group. So, let's get started, okay? Everybody's ready? Yes? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. First of all, when you open your chocolate tasting kit, I show you have a brownie there. Let me tell you a story real quick. The brownie is there for 2 reasons. The first reason is it's hard to trust people when they have chocolate in front of them. I never do. And I'm lucky that I'm on the other side of the chair. So I'm the one teaching the class and I'm not the one waiting for the class, because I'll be weak as many of you can be. So the reason why the brownie is there, it's because this is a product that it's not part of our event today. But in case when you receive the box and you open it because you're curious, you saw there and you said, oh my God, I have to eat something. 9 out of 10 will go for the brownie first. That's part of the chocolate psychology that we have developed, throughout all this year. And it really won't mess up with the event. Nothing will happen if you eat the brownie before. I never say it because I guarantee you will eat it. But right now, and especially with you guys, because you guys are teachers, you educate, sometimes in order to get the attention, we have to do something about it. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna trade the brownie with a couple of minutes for a couple of minutes of your time. And I'm gonna share a little bit about how chocolate is made. We're gonna see a couple of images, but you're gonna enjoy the first Cacao chocolate product. That way, you know, you're busy eating, paying attention, and you're not gonna ask me when are we gonna eat the chocolates, which is always the first question. The first question is where we're gonna eat the chocolates, because by now you're very anxious, right? So let's go ahead and let's do that. I know you have this with you, correct? Can someone please confirm that you can see this image? Yes?
Yes.
Awesome. You have this printed as part of your chocolate tasting kit. What I want to highlight now is that on the left side of your screen, you see a lot of colors. You see brown, green, yellow, pink, purple. Each one of these colors, we have different fruits, different nuts, different aromas that we're going to be tasting as part of our event. This is what it's called a tasting wheel. In a wine tasting, Scotch, bourbon, coffee cupping, tea tasting, we use this type of wheel to identify flavor profiles. If you've never done it with chocolate, we're going to do it together today. Okay, believe it or not, yes, there are many flavors that are hidden in the chocolate that you don't imagine. But that's what I'm going to bring to you: craft chocolate, artisanal chocolates that will tell you stories, because that's where we are. I mean, we're chocolate makers / storytellers. Right next to it, you see the world map, you see all the continents, and also there's a large, wide area with a red line in the middle. The red line is the equator line, okay? Being the top and the bottom white areas, the 20 degrees north or south of the equator line. Ideally, those are the places where cacao grows. I say ideally because things have changed a little bit. If you know cacao chocolate, some of you may have heard that, you know, we're involved in growing cacao here in Miami, and we actually made a few batches with local cacao beans, okay? Thanks that to the subtropical environment / climate change that we are experiencing, unfortunately, all that is actually, you know, helping us in a good way to grow the beans, but it's always like mixed emotions when I talk about this, because we know that where we're going. I mean, no surprise, it's May and we're like 85, 90 degrees today, so it's really, really hot. Now, cacao is a fruit. Everything starts from this flower that you can see in the top left image. Flower grows year round. Typically, I mean, a tree can have thousands of flowers, not necessarily thousands of fruits. Not every single flower will be pollinated or it will turn into a fruit, okay? Now, cacao tastes like the region where it grows because of the pollination, also along with the genetics of each one of the cocoa pods that we're growing. It's just like taking a screenshot of all of us right now. I mean, some of you are born here in Miami, or maybe some of us, we have different heritage. We have different hair colors, eyes colors, etc., etc. All that happens the same with cacao. Soon it's going to be chocolate. Now, if you can take a look at the second picture, actually the first one and the second one, you see how this fruit grows attached to the trunk of the tree, not from the leaves, okay? The bottom left image, it's something that, I mean, I love this image because this is a farm. This can tell you what's the diversity of fruits and genetics that you can see and you can find. Okay, it's like mangoes, avocados. You ever been to a mango festival or Fairchild? You know that there are hundreds of different genetics. Well, this is very similar. So you can see in the same harvest how some fruits are yellow, orange, red, and you see some green and some purple towards the end. That's how cacao actually looks like when we harvest it. We typically harvest twice a year. Okay, now I opened one of the fruits for you so you guys can see how's the inside. Inside for Miamians, we know lychee really well. When I do these tastings with, you know, at some other states, some people don't have that idea or don't picture what lychee is. But for us here in Miami, we grow lychee. We know what a lychee is. Imagine that the beans that you have in that little bag before were fermented and dried, they look like a lychee. They have this white sticky pulp. That's what we eat on a lychee. That's what you can see on the bottom right image. Why is that for? If you don't know, that white pulp is something that's called cacao flesh, cacao pulp, or baba de cacao in Spanish. We're gonna use that to ferment the cacao beans. 1/3 of the foods that we consume on a daily basis actually come from a fermentation process. Cacao is one of them. Hey, before you taste the chocolate, before that brownie tastes the way it tasted, that fruit has to be fermented to develop some flavor, some aroma. Imagine that you walk into a room and the light is off. The room is dark. The fermentation will basically be the switch to turn on that light. Okay, how is that done? It's a chemical process, lasts up to 7 days. Basically, it's a roller coaster of temperature, humidity. We create acetic acid, bacteria is created, yeast is created, and all that will basically give the flavor to what we know as chocolate. Last process, everything that I'm talking about, it's done at the farms, okay? Those places of origin where we're gonna taste the chocolate in just a few minutes. Last process at the farm is the top right image, which is the drying process, sun drying process. This image is actually a state-of-the-art cacao farm that we're working with in Dominican Republic, which they have like a drying tunnel, which is even better because, I mean, beans are drying slowly, but again, they're really well taken care of. Now, let me go back to you because I want to show you how the chocolate is made. Received this recently. You have this with you. Okay, these are cacao beans. You have a little bag with you. If you like to, just shake that up, that little bag, and open it. Open it just like I did. I shake this, and I smell. Okay, those. I mean, it doesn't smell like chocolate, but close to. These are the beans that we're going to be using to make chocolate. Now, how do we do that? Every single one of the beans that you guys have has to go through a last process before we turn it into chocolate. What that process will be, roasting. I didn't mention it before, but cacao and coffee are cousins. They need the same environment. They usually grow together. So, I mean, often you can find coffee trees in a cacao farm or cacaos in a coffee farm, okay? Especially in Central America or Colombia, they grow a lot of coffee too. You know, they basically need exactly the same environment. You will never see French coffee beans or Belgian coffee beans. That will never happen, okay? Same as you'll never find Belgian cacao beans. As much as you say Belgian chocolate, cacao beans, it's something completely different, okay? So exactly like coffee beans, we do a process of roasting, light, medium, or dark roast. Fermentation and roasting are key parts of what's going to be the chocolate. And we decide and we customize every single one of the processes. After that, we just crack up the beans, just like opening probably a nut. And what we're gonna have, it's the cocoa nibs. That's what it's called. I'm gonna show you, I have a bunch here in my hand. Cocoa nibs are now very easy to find. Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, any supermarket, any healthy store. You can find it in acai bowls, etc., etc. This is really, really healthy. This is actually the highest source of antioxidants that you can find. So just go for it if you can. Those nibs are going through machines called melanger. Imagine a large cylinder with stone wheels. These are the stone wheels. Can you see this? These wheels actually are gonna crush those cocoa nibs and turn it into a paste, turn it into liquid. How's that gonna happen? There's a magic ingredient inside your cocoa beans that you don't know, you don't taste it, but it's there. It's the fat, cocoa butter, okay? Guys are not as familiar as ladies with cocoa butter because cocoa butter is often found in every single kind of cosmetic product, okay? Every single kind of cosmetic product contains cocoa butter. Now, how do we make the chocolate? Let's say Latoya, she says that she likes dark chocolate. That's her favorite chocolate, but she doesn't know what it really means. Or when she goes to the supermarket or chocolate shop, she sees like a 70%, 80% chocolate bar. She has no clue what that means. From now on, artisanal chocolate, craft, bean to bar. I show you what, from the bean, all the process to make it the chocolate that we're going to be tasting. That's what it's called, bean to bar. Now you know. And it's considered someone who starts from there. If I want to make a chocolate from Latoya, let's say she wants a 70%, which is what we're going to be tasting in a sec. 70% of my total recipe, which is, I mean, every single recipe we make is out of 100%, but 70% will be the total amount of cacao nibs added to that machine. That's gonna crush them. It's called melange. This is like micro batch size for samples, etc. So this is gonna crush that, turn it into liquid, and I have to add a 30% of something to reach that 100%. That 30% will be just cane sugar or any type of sweetener. In reality, any type of sweetener. Okay, now, but that's Latoya. I know Laura. She has a sweet tooth. She says, you know what? I like milk chocolate better. I know you make chocolate and all that and all those cocoa nibs, but those things are strong. I don't really like that. Can you make something sweeter for me? I was absolutely, you know, I make chocolate for everybody. My job is to make people happy, and that's what I do for a living. So she wants milk chocolate. We all that had milk chocolate before. We know it's light brown in color, right? The reason why it's light brown is less than 50% cacao in the recipe. So typically our milk chocolate is usually 45%. So which means 45% cacao nibs, 55%, I mean, divided between cocoa butter, dry milk, and cane sugar. That's about it. That, I mean, we don't add that many ingredients. But let's say Lourdes, she says, you know what? I have a confession to make. I like white chocolate. I don't say it loud because a lot of people tell me that white chocolate is not chocolate, and people give me a hard time that why do I eat that? That's a lot of sugar and da. I never ask who likes white chocolate in my tastings because they're always chocolate bullies that will give a hard time whoever says like white chocolate. I don't discriminate. I eat them all. We make them all. I'm here to tell you what is white chocolate. In reality, many people say white chocolate is not chocolate because it's white. No cacao content. Okay, that's the reason why it's white. But white chocolate is made from the fat, cocoa butter. Okay, that's what it's all about. No cacao solids, cocoa butter. But it has to, I mean, bring 29%, at least 29% cocoa butter, according to the FDA, to be considered white chocolate. The reason why people blame white chocolate is that when you go to the store, you find something that is like, looks like this. This is white, right? Now, if I add this, can we see the difference? Absolutely. So next time, Lourdes, go to the store and buy something that costs like $1.99. It looks like this, white as a piece of paper. That clearly is not the best white chocolate. White chocolate should look like this, yellowish, ivory, off-white, you name it. There are many names, many colors to call this, but never perfect white. Okay, never bright white, never. Imagine that you brew your coffee this morning. We are teachers, we drink a lot of coffee. You brew your coffee, just a regular coffee machine, filter, ground coffee, water, and all of a sudden you run out of coffee. You don't have time to go wash the filter, replace it, wash the jar, replace the filter. You just add more water and brew it again. And you keep doing that all day long, all day long, all day long. By 4 p.m., you're drinking coffee flavored water. The color is different. The taste is different. That's what happened with the cocoa butter that is used for commercial white chocolate. It's processed over and over and over and over that the color, this color turns into this. And that's the reason why it's so cheap, because it gets cheaper. That's the reason why it's over processed. Same happens with tea. Imagine that you have a tea bag, hot water, and you keep adding hot water to that throughout the day. At some point, the tea won't taste the same and the color won't be the same when it steeps. That's the perfect example of what white chocolate is. Don't blame every single white chocolate. Not all of them are bad. Not all of them are bad, okay? So now you know. Lourdes, don't be shy if she likes white chocolate. I have milk chocolate for everybody, and I have dark chocolate for many of you. For the tasting now, we're gonna go for 4 different dark chocolates. Why dark chocolate, Ricardo? Because the higher the cacao content, the more that we can learn. But do not worry, I got you the brownies, which are sweet before, and we have some bonbons and truffles that we're gonna taste as well, okay? So now, I know as part of the email, I asked if you can have a glass of water with you in a tasting. We clean our palate, especially after a brownie. Okay, that's what we have to do. Clean your palate, almost like you're rinsing. If you want to teach your family and friends about tasting chocolate, you can also use a piece of bread or oyster crackers. Those are great as well to clean your palate between chocolate and chocolate. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this. I know we have a lot of attendees. I'm going to be looking at the chat, okay? And when we taste the chocolates, I want you guys to write down, what do you taste, okay? I'm going to be reading it and we together, we're going to come up with a description of every single one of the chocolates, okay? So here's the first one. In the chocolate tasting kit, you see every single color here. You see yellow, green, blue, purple. What does that color mean? The color means every single farm, or 4 different places, 3 in reality, that we source cacao from. So let's say I have Terry, I have Jeffrey, and I have Ruth. Ruth is in Nicaragua, while Jeffrey is in Belize, and I don't remember the first one, but Chef Nunez is in Dominican Republic. So what happened is that every single location obviously have a different demographic. It has, different fruits, plants growing in the surroundings, different soil pH, all that is taken into consideration along with the genetics of the cacao, and that will bring a unique flavor. Okay, that's what I like to highlight. I buy from every single farmer and I make a chocolate from them. That's the perfect way to explain what's coming out of every single farm. All right. Now, how do we taste the chocolate? Let's take out the first little bag. We use 5 senses: sight, touch, smell, hear, and taste. What is this guy talking about? I know it sounds weird. If you go to a winery, they tell you that you have to look at it, smell it, and taste. These are 3 different senses. In chocolate, we go a little bit further. We use 5. How do we do 5? Automatically, when I ask you to remove the yellow bag, the yellow dot from the tasting kit, you use 2. You look at it and you touch it, right? The third sense will be smell. So I want you guys to smell this. And this is key. You can take a look at this and try to identify aromas. One more thing that I like to do is I always rub it with the tip of my fingers, almost like melting it a little bit, so that will enhance some aroma. Okay, that's what I do. To smell the chocolate. Fourth sense. This is where the fun begins. You say, this guy is crazy, because I'm telling you, you have to listen. What do you mean by listen? Just put this piece of chocolate close to your ear and you're going to break it in half, just like I'm doing. When you break this piece of chocolate in half, you're going to hear some crisp, some breaking sound. It's called snap. Snap means when I took that chocolate out from that machine, it was at a liquid stage. Oops. Now, whoever just logged in, you had to lower the bottom a little bit. I'm sorry about that. Now, we have to solidify. We had to temper it, not let it dry. Last but not least, this is when the fun begins. Let this piece of chocolate melt slowly. Remember, I'm looking at every single one of you. So I don't want to see you chewing the chocolate, because this is not gum, okay? So I don't want to see like, take your time, play around with that piece of chocolate. You can push it to the roof of your mouth while you read this. Not because yellow means that it tastes only like the yellow section. One thing is that nobody is wrong. That's part of the game. So don't be shy. Write down what you taste. This is a 70% dark chocolate made with Nicaraguan beans. This is a place called La Colonia. Okay, go for it. Let's give up, a few minutes and we'll start reading from the chat. What did you guys taste? Raisins, orange, citrus, orange, raspberry. So we're talking about, we're here in the yellow and the purple section. Raisins, raisins is very popular in this one. Orange,
if you notice, there's like a peak of sweetness, almost like a touch of honey that disappear really fast. Really fast. You see Laura mentioned that too. There's like a touch of honey disappear fast. Also, when it's melting, citrus notes, raspberry, or some tartness, some tart fruit. People say a lot of raisins. And for me, it has a finish, like a clean coffee aftertaste. Almost like when we finish a cafecito, you know, like we have that coffee taste at the end. It happens. This is a cacao from Central America, and Central America is more known for coffee than actually for cacao in many countries. Okay, but I like how it's going. Everybody's it's participating. Everybody's saying something. Awesome. I like this one. If you're a wine drinker, this is a great chocolate for wine. When you ask me, how do I pair chocolates and wine, Ricardo? Obviously I taste the chocolate first, and based on the flavor profile of the chocolate, I will go for a different wine. This is very raisins. This is very fruity chocolate. Okay, so this will go well with a cave, but also will go very well with a Pinot Noir, let's say, and the Pinot Noir will bring more fruitiness out of this chocolate. Okay, this is the ones that say for Lisa's. The first chocolate is 70% from Nicaragua. Okay, a place called La Colonia. Now, I'm talking about farms. I'm talking about this guy is using cacaos from just one place and tastes unique and all that. How do I explain even further what I'm talking about? The best ways through the senses, the best ways tasting this. So I'm gonna ask you to clean your palate again. More water. Okay, and we're gonna go for the second. The second one, it's an identical chocolate. The green one, right now we're in the green, and we're gonna go in order, but I'll let you know the order. The green one is the one we're gonna be tasting right now. Same percentage, same recipe. What I changed was the farm. This is now from Honduras, a place called La Masica. Okay, smells different. Laura says, I want you to obviously to taste this one using your 5 senses, sight, touch, smell, hear, and taste, but also you can compare it now to the previous one. So it's even more fun. Smells less sweet. Chef Nunes says rosemary's, louder snap, fine. If you notice, people are on the green section in this one, not in the yellow or on the pink or purple section. Slightly more bitter, tastes way different. Absolutely. It's like when you have twins, but they have 2 different personalities. This is the perfect example. Okay, now when we compare this one, some of you may love the first one better, and some of you may say, oh, this is the one for me. My goal here is not to pick a favorite. It happens by nature. However, the idea is, this is by far my favorite chocolate to taste. You guys say thyme, you guys say rosemary, smoke. We can talk about maybe a little bit of tobacco, molasses, a combination of cinnamon, nutmeg. So weird as it may sound, you know what I do tasting this chocolate? I taste green peppers. Green peppers, and I smell tomatoes. Licorice is something that people find often. The truth is that it tastes very earthy, absolutely. Nobody says raisins. Nobody said oranges. That's what it's all about. Okay, for someone who asked, where's this coming from? This place called La Masica. Peppers. There are 2 peppers. There are green peppers, which is what I do taste, but there's also like a fresh cracked black pepper. This chocolate can taste like that as well. Okay, now we have 2 different dark chocolates, same percentage, same recipe. It's crazy how they're different. Whoever says a louder snap, snaps in chocolates, a snap has to be present. Yes, it can be stronger, it can be a bit weaker, but we need a snap, that's for sure. What's the difference? As for genetics, this is a dry one, but it's good for you guys to see it. Okay. Cacao is a fruit, it doesn't go bad, it just dry, so we keep it always for events, decorations, etc. This, depending of the variety, you can see, I mean, these are like two different ones. Depending on the variety, also the fat content, the cocoa butter content can change. Okay, so the higher the cocoa butter content, stronger the snap. Okay, now you get it. Let's do this. We're 2 out of 4. We have a third one to taste. Now, let's clean our palate. This is, again, La Masica from Honduras was this second chocolate. For the third one, I have to, because in order to educate about chocolate, you have to learn the good, the bad, and the ugly of the industry. That's for sure. Okay, what wine with La Masica? Lisa asked. If I can give you a recommendation, it would be like a medium body wine. I wouldn't pick a Cabernet for this because it can be too strong, and both flavors are going to be competing. If I can go further, I will enjoy this chocolate with a scotch, with a bourbon, even with a nice espresso or rum. I'm Venezuelan, and Venezuelans, we drink a lot of rum. And, you know, I mean, rums go very well with chocolate. So I guess in my case, Ricardo's wine will be the very last option, but still go very well with a Malbec, let's say Malbec or Pinot Noir too. Okay. Let's go for the third one. The third one is the blue one. Blue one, just, I mean, we have a lot of people here. I just had a, we didn't make this one. This is a commercial brand. No need to name the, no need to read the name or to tell the name loud. They don't need more publicity. What they need is people like you to understand what it's in their chocolate or how to compare craft chocolate with commercial chocolate. What's in commercial chocolate? So whether you like this one or not, what I want you guys is to go for the 5 senses, unwrap the blue one, go for the 5 senses and tell me, what do you taste? You've had this chocolate probably many times before. This is a special dark, so this is a dark chocolate according to this brand. But the reality is that you can, I mean, you have to taste it, not just eat the chocolate like you've probably done many times. Okay, there's a big difference between eating and tasting something. Okay, smells really sweet. Sugar, 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 sugar. Lighter snap, fatty. Milk chocolate, very soft, no snap. Sweeter, sweeter, sugar. Nobody says figs, nobody says peppers, nobody says anything other than sugar to sweet, to sweet, to sweet, to sweet, to sweet. Rarely snap. Snap is pretty much lost in this recipe. I'm gonna break down this for you because this is the best way to understand what's out there when we talk about chocolate, okay? Especially moms who blame chocolate in kids, that you shouldn't eat chocolate because it's not healthy. There's a big difference between the previous two and this one. The biggest difference, actually, the amount of ingredients. Whether you like the yellow or the green cacao and cane sugar, 2 ingredients. Now, this blue one, you know how many ingredients are? 13 ingredients. 1, 3. Bean cacao, just tiny, tiny, tiny 1 ingredient there, along with 12 others. If you read the ingredients when you go to the supermarket, we have milk fat. Why do we have milk fat in dark chocolate? Every single dark chocolate should be lactose-free, dairy-free, vegan. You'd be surprised how many vegans, I mean, have struggles finding dark chocolates because not all of them are. Not all of them are. Milk fat will make it friendlier, will make it taste friendlier for some people. So in your mind, you're saying, oh, I'm eating dark chocolate. This is good for me. No, it's not. It's not. We have alcohol-based preservatives. We have artificial flavors. In reality, what we have in these chocolates are memories. Maybe Maria or Diana tastes, this chocolate reminds you when they were camping, or when, I don't know, Chriseli was back in the holidays, she went to North Carolina and she was having s'mores with the family, or baking night with your girlfriends, all that. When you taste this, you taste memories. Why do you taste memories? Doesn't matter if you're 35 years old now. When you turn 70, this chocolate will taste exactly the same. Why? Those 13 ingredients play a key part of keeping the same flavor over and over and over and over and over. So my daughters are 15 and 11. When they get out of college, this chocolate will taste exactly the same. When they have kids, this chocolate will taste exactly the same. Why? Because that's what they want. That's what they want. We cannot guarantee the same flavor harvest after harvest. Go to a winery and ask the winemaker, can you guarantee that this batch of wine will be identical next year? And they will say no. Same happens with craft coffee. Specialty coffee is exactly the same. Now you understand what is the difference between real chocolate, craft chocolate, and industrial chocolate. Okay? Always read the ingredients. The ingredients will tell you the stories about the chocolates. Everything you know is there, or legally should be printed there. I hope that in the future, many of these brands will have to change the word chocolate for candy, because they don't even meet the cacao percentage to be considered chocolate. And that's the truth. That's legally speaking, that's the truth. Right? Now, let's have some more water. Let's take a break of the tasting and let's open the box of chocolates that you guys have. Box of chocolates. You have 6 different flavors. We're gonna taste a couple, and then you're gonna keep the other ones to maybe share with the family, or just hide in the bathroom. You eat them all yourself. Don't worry about that. I'm not one of those that encourage people to share chocolate. I don't even share chocolate myself. Okay. Now, when you open the chocolate box, on the top left, there's a red round truffle. Someone said the other day at one of my tastings, it looks like the coronavirus. And it's funny, but it's true. So that red round truffle, it's a raspberry truffle. We use organic freeze-dried raspberries and a dark chocolate ganache, which is the center. It's very creamy and soft. Okay, so have that one. That one you don't have to break it. No. That one you just indulge. You just take a bite, close your eyes, get into your chocolate same moment, and enjoy. The flavor of the raspberry is really on point. It's really on point. If you like wines, I know it's not that I'm a drunk, but I mean, I always bring things that people can relate, because that way I can open their chocolate brain. This is a great piece of chocolate to have with a glass of wine, because it has that chocolate taste, but it also have that fruitiness that you will really enjoy. Okay, together you will really enjoy that. Okay, it has an intense flavor at the beginning. It's not recommended to have chocolate with hot tea. No, yes, you can. Absolutely, you can. I mean, a piece of dark chocolate, probably with a black tea, it goes really well. The second one, the green one from Honduras, perfect. That will go. Or, if you find like a tea that has some fruity notes, again, any dark chocolate will go really well with that. If you like some sweet, why not incorporate some milk? Now, we have that one. What do we taste? Because you've had a lot of dark chocolate. You have a lot of dark chocolate. I'll give you a break. Right next to that Corona chocolate, there's a light brown, like the one that I made for someone, that it has some orange splashes. That it's our salted caramel, milk chocolate with salted caramel. Try that one, please. Very strong dark chocolate, a very strong raspberry taste at the beginning, trust me. And when we received the container with raspberries and we opened that container, that smell can be strong. It's a real fruit. It's the real fruit. This tastes like raspberry, not like a medicine taste raspberry. No, it is the real one. Now, this one is the milk chocolate and salted caramel. We add a little bit of pink Himalayan sea salt to this one. And this is my way to say thank you to everybody who likes sweets, but they've been participating in the tasting and they have to go through all the darks in reality. Yeah. Now, when you're ready with that one, how about if we taste one more? Let's taste one more. I know you won't mind. I know you won't mind. Right next to that one, there's a dark chocolate with yellow splashes. Imagine that on a Sunday, you go for brunch. Brunch is one of my favorite foods, especially over the weekend. I twisted a little bit because brunch, we have mimosas. Now, this is a passion fruit mimosa. So the yellow splashes, it's a passion fruit with a little bit of champagne, which is my mimosa version. If you've never had passion fruit mimosa, you're missing out. So now you're gonna thank me not just for the chocolate moment, but also for that recipe. Okay, so go for it. That's someone says say strawberries. You're on the wrong one. Okay, let me know how you like that yellow one. And when you're ready, we go back to the water because we have one more to taste. I like the passion fruit mimosa a lot. But I can eat a lot of that one. I can eat a lot of those. Okay. Now, once you're ready, let's taste the last one. Clean your palate. Drink some water because we need to get all the passion fruit, salted caramel, raspberry out. Just get it out. Clean your palate because we have one last piece of chocolate to taste, which is this one, the pink one. The pink one, I'll ask you, when you go for the 5 senses, pay close attention to the color of this chocolate because this is a 72%. We went up for 2%. Remember, the yellow and the green one were 70%. This is a 72%, but in reality, the color is much lighter than the other two. What does it have to do with it? Genetics and also the quality. The quality of the cacao, the finest quality cacaos are lighter in color. Okay, so please taste this one. This is a 72% from Venezuela. Doesn't smell very easily. Rub it a little bit. This may taste strong, but remember, we're coming out from, different bonbons and truffles. So you have to work it out a little bit. If you didn't clean your palate well, you say, oh my God, this is too strong for me. But in reality, it's thanks to the other two chocolates. Current coffee. If I say a note, I will say figs. Chris Selly says cherries. She's asking about cherries. Softer and coffee. Yes. What else? Maybe some roasted almonds, roasted hazelnuts. Okay, that can be too. Mayako says cigars, maybe tobacco, smoky, woody. This, if you like scotch, if you like a good single malt scotch or a bourbon, let's say, this is the perfect chocolate for that. Actually, this is one of my secret weapons because if any of you says, hey, come over for dinner, bring your family. I have some wine or let's have some drinks. I always bring this chocolate. It's because it goes well with wines and it goes very well with pretty much everything that you have at your bar at home. Okay, from coffee, let's say if you don't drink, all the way to bourbon, scotch, rums, wines. This is really, really, really good. I really like the texture of this one. It's very soft. It's very soft. And again, it has a different personality. One quick story about this is that flavors of this cacao change a little bit last harvest, or at least the last harvest that we received. Someone says, when are you coming over for dinner and drinks? Just let, I mean, you let us know and I'll bring the chocolates. That's for sure. I'm everybody's best friend with the chocolates. Absolutely. Okay. The name of this one is Venezuela 72%. Okay. It's called Orinoco 72%, which is the region where it grows. The flavor of this cacao changed a little bit. I mean, last harvest. And one of the reasons why we never tasted cherries, like someone asked, I mean, a lot of people taste raisins in this chocolate. Okay. But we never had that flavor before. And one of the things that happened is that there was, due to the lack of rain while cacaos were growing, we were able to taste some tartness here and there that was never identified before. So that's how complex cacao and chocolate can be. You see, I mean, we talk about figs, we talk about nuts, we talk about raisins. The first one, we talk about orange, a lot of coffee. The second one, we talk about thyme, rosemary, molasses, tobacco, which actually tobacco, if you like cigars, is very similar. I mean, the way it grows, the region where it grows, single leaf cigars as well. Okay, so it's all very similar. I mean, not because you like wines or you like fine cigars or scotch doesn't mean that chocolate is not there. Now, I thought you that not every single chocolate is candy. This is my best way to turn chocoholics into chocolate connoisseurs, into chocolate aficionados, because chocoholics in reality eat a lot of this one without the proper knowledge to understand and differentiate what's in that chocolate compared to, a craft chocolate. So now you know what's in chocolate. We have 3 more chocolates as part of your box. I'm going to tell you the flavors. You're going to get to pick anything. While I'm going to share one last image I'd like to share with you, and then I'm going to open it to questions, okay? At the bottom part, which, I mean, we ate all the ones for the top. At the bottom part, you have a dark milk truffle at the left side. The center, it's a strawberry and balsamic vinegar. Okay, so it has that sweetness and almost that kick for the balsamic vinegar. And there's a coconut truffle. Now, feel free to eat any of them while I share something else with you real quick. And then we're gonna go back to the questions. Can you see this? Yes? Awesome. Now, I mean, being like a farmer myself, I love to plant seeds in every single one of you. And I know you're going to understand this a lot because here in Miami, I mean, we have either we were born here or we know people from every single country, especially cacao growing countries. What I want you guys to understand is that I prove you with flavors, with a proper tasting, what are the difference between craft chocolate and commercial chocolate. But now, what is very important is you guys, I mean, you said sugar, you said coffee, you said passion fruit, but now what you guys have to understand in reality is what's happening in the chocolate industry, in the cacao industry. Unfortunately, this industry is broken. Same happens with coffee, same happens with every single food product, okay? There's always someone taking advantage of someone, okay? So if we don't know, we're part of that. We're part of that. What makes us different to the blue one, whether you like that blue chocolate or not, it's the way we source our cacao beans. What I talk about farms, because we have direct connections in that yellow chocolate, in that green chocolate, in that pink chocolate. I can tell you everything about that. Everything about that. The blue one, you don't know where it's coming from. You don't know where's that cacao is coming from. Which, by the way, it's use African cacao, which is the largest cacao producer in the world, not necessarily the highest quality. Why not necessarily the highest quality? Not because of the soil, not because of the demographic, because the lack of knowledge. Okay, many of these farmers in Africa, they work in cacao fields, but they don't know what is a piece of chocolate. They've never tasted chocolate in their lives. There's a lot of slavery and child abuse involved in the chocolate industry. If we don't know, we're part of that. Okay, the reason why you see all these images, I mean, being the top one, the number one being the bottom right, the number 9. You see number 2, this guy holding a light blue chocolate bar. This is the last chocolate you guys have. This is the pink dot. This is where it's coming from. Right next to him, you see a hot pink bar. This is one of the 2 farms that we source from Africa. This place is called Kilombero in Tanzania. This is 100% fair trade certified farm. Okay, you see Dominican Republic, you see 100% women on and run farm in Peru, which is the picture number 1. If we go down to number 5 and number 6, which is in the mid section, you see a blue structure, and right next to it, there's an orange building. We work in the yellow one, the Nicaragua. We partnered up with a nonprofit called Enliven Cacao, which, by the way, we're coming up with subscription bots. Every month, people will receive different chocolates, new recipes, new origins, limited, like exclusive origins, but part of the proceeds will go straight to this farm. Why? Because they, being a nonprofit, they reinvest 100% of the money that they make selling cacao in that community. You can see the building. It was an old, ugly building. It was turned into a restaurant, which is made on purpose for the wives of the farmers have a second income source. And at the second floor of that building, there's a cyber cafe, which actually is the only place in town with internet access and with computers. Kids don't have computers at home or at school. They have to go there. They have to go there. It's a cyber cafe. Imagine, I mean, we're talking about cyber cafe, something that probably was 20 years ago. Now, this is what they have. I mean, poverty can really make a difference for these people. And that's what we try to fight against for. No middlemen, we directly source from them. That way the money stays in the community. They're not underpaid. We actually pay about 25% above the stock market price, but we make sure that the guys are well treated. We travel periodically. I mean, obviously education is key. I have a business background. I'm actually an accountant. So whatever I can help as far as entrepreneurship, we definitely do. Not just me. I mean, we're a group of craft chocolate makers here in the US that when you read Bean to Bar, we all have the same goal. Take care of the farmers, because a happier farmer, a farmer that is doing great, you know, in life, it's being able to support his family, you know, will be just growing the perfect cacao, will be willing to learn more, will be willing to work with small, I mean, chocolate producers like us. But definitely, you know, he knows that we're a key part of the process. We do our part. You have to do your part. What you have to do, what you have to do, just remember, where is this coming from? You can do that with chocolates. You can do that with anything you eat. Anything, any type of food, you know, will bring you stories. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Okay. That cyber cafe that I told you, the guy for the nonprofit, the guy from Enliven, he has an IT background. He's living in Nicaragua. He's running the farms. He's running that, you know, he's managing everything. He was the one who, through donations, he put all that computer lab together with the help of a teenager that had no clue about computers, but he learned, he helped them. And now this kid is actually moving 5 hours away from home, going to Managua to pursue an IT career. He's the first member of that community that's actually going to college. That's what we want. Education is key. The kids in that community, they don't have to be farmers by default. They can be farmers by choice. But our goal is that they have the tools to get out, to have some careers, to learn, and hopefully go back to their communities and support them, and, you know, really take care of their people, because clearly our governments in South America, Central America, they don't care about anything like that. And that's not political, it's the reality. It's the reality. So keep that in mind. One last thing before I open it to questions is, don't forget to be grateful. Look around, always count your blessings. You have a lot. Just the fact that you're here at 4:30 p.m. connected in a chocolate tasting. That, I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. You're not on a bed in a hospital. You know, you're healthy. That's great. You have a lot. You have a lot. Okay. Look around, be grateful for what you have. This is not a religious message. This is something that I've learned. I learned because when we travel to these farms, we see a lot. We see a lot. And we see a lot of poverty, but some way, somehow they're happy with what they have. You know, so why not? If you're happy with what you have, if you're grateful for what you have, if you feel lucky with what you have, I'm pretty sure you're gonna help somebody else. So why not? Why not? You know, I love to open it to questions. I see the chat going up and down, up and down. So I hope I can catch up. I know I have a few minutes for questions, but I mean, definitely, I guess, you know, this is what it's all about. You get, everybody asks about.
Yeah, Ricardo, it's mainly people being so, you know, grateful for what you do, just to get you a little bit caught up and saying thank you for what you do and for the mission of the company. It's great cause and you know, fantastic product that you're producing. And you know, our minds are blown with the education. A lot of us realizing we didn't know anything about chocolate. If you could please at least let us know. I'll start off with the questions where we can get more chocolate. And if somebody wants to do, you know, to book you for a tasting for one of their events.
Absolutely. I mean, easy. You go to cacaochocolates.com. Right now, we're 100% online, and you can also click there. There's a list of retail partners where you can get through. Also, you can visit some of their local establishments that they carry your brand, and that way you support two local businesses, which is great. Our email is there. Instagram and Facebook are the easiest tool. I mean, we manage our social media ourselves. So add Cacao Chocolates, and also I'm gonna share my personal one. You know, any question you forgot about, you know, the name of the chocolates, or you have a dinner and you don't know what chocolate get or what wine to get with wine, you know, I'm always a DM one click away, and I'll be more than happy to, you know, to help you out, because that's what it's all about. And you know, about field trips, we're working on it. We're about to move to a larger facility, so we'll let you know when that happens. And definitely, I'll be more than happy with that as well. And what else? Thank you to the ones who shared the website. And you know, yes, you know, if you have questions, this is the time. I'm gonna go. I know we have a couple of minutes left, so I'd love to answer as many questions you have here in the chat. The truth is, someone says the cousin is currently intubated. I hope he gets better. You know, always keep in mind where your food is coming from. I cannot say enough. I cannot say enough. All right. So,
Are you going to be at the South Beach Wine and Food Festival this weekend?
yes, this is a crazy, crazy week for us. That's why we only booked 3 tastings this week, and that event is huge. So we're gonna be in several events, participants, but our main event is gonna be the last one, the Sunday night, which is the closing event with Chef Andrew Zimmer, the guy that eats all the weird stuff. So hopefully he's gonna eat some good chocolates, no weird stuff. This event, it's really nice and fun. You know, it's just gonna be a little bit hotter than usual. This event is usually held in February, but now, I mean, after COVID, it's gonna be at the end of May. But again, this is a great opportunity for local chefs to showcase and share a little bit of what Miami is. It's, you know, it's bringing to not only the chocolate scene, but also the food scene, which is very important. Okay. And I always say, I see there was a chef here. You know, a lot of chefs from food network industry, etc., come from out of town. But just look at your own backyard and support your own chefs and your own restaurants. We have great people here doing amazing stuff, amazing stuff. So, you know, yes, great about the chefs that aren't coming, but you know what? we have to be proud of the guys that we have here in our own backyard. Okay, if we don't support each other, these guys coming from out of town won't. Okay,
Definitely. I
so
think,
we have to learn that that's the mentality that we need. That's the mentality that we need as a city.
I think Chef Nunez walked away, but he's actually one of the culinary chefs at Miami Lakes Education Center. So he's raising the next generation of chefs.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it is very important. It's very important that, we can start comparing amazing dishes for local chefs. I have plenty of chefs, great friends. And let me tell you, I'm extremely proud of what's happening in the industry right now. And I guess this festival, it's a great proof for the locals that go thinking about Food Network, realizing what they have here in Miami and what we all should be proud about.
Thank you, Ricardo. We're pretty much out of time. We just had a couple questions. First, to Ms. Stone, the liquid in the bag is not edible.
No, please. That was a gel pack that it's there to keep the chocolates cool. I mean, we ship overnight, but still, it's part of protecting the chocolates. Put it back. That's 100% recyclable. So put it back in the freezer, and you can use it. If you go to the beach or something, to keep your food, your drinks cold.
And we had one question: what's on the middle of the box on top?
The middle of the box on top. If it's the light brown color with orange splashes, that's the salted caramel. And at the middle of the box at the bottom, which is like a pinkish color, it's a strawberry and balsamic vinegar.
Okay. And finally, we have an allergy to soy question. What happens when chocolate doesn't have soy? I'm allergic to soy.
What you had today is 100% soy free. Okay? So you don't have to worry about that. Read the ingredients. It is very important. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting you guys before, so I didn't include any nuts, any soy, or gluten, just the brownie, which is packaged separately. Okay, but that's about it. So I always very, very conscious about that. Diana asked about chocolate bloom. This is a great question. Remember, in our chocolate pieces, there are two ingredients, cacao and cacao butter, fat. Especially here in Miami, South Florida, it's extremely hot. Chocolate can melt really fast. And basically what chocolate melts, the crystals inside the chocolate will separate. You're gonna lose the shine. And at the same time, hey, when the chocolate solidifies again, if you don't go through a process called tempering, you see a dull color, almost like grayish, that's called bloom. You have two different types of bloom. Because of temperature, can be fat bloom. And if you leave the chocolates in the fridge, it's gonna be called sugar bloom. Okay, for those of you who like to keep the chocolate storage in the fridge, that chocolate is gonna harden, but then it's gonna taste grainier. Throughout the weeks, if you keep it there, it's gonna taste grainier. And that's because the sugar is also separated. We don't see it, but it's happening. And also, if it's not well packaged, well protected, that chocolate will actually, because of the cocoa butter, will absorb aromas and flavors from your fridge. Okay, so you don't want that. Keep the chocolate away from the fridge. That was a great question.
We had another question from Mr. Farrell. He was asking about local cacao. I know we're not the ideal temperature climate for growing cacao, but it is possible. Is there any local cacao?
Yes, absolutely. It's happening. The moment I'm working with different places that they have they're growing cacao. All of them are private properties, but what I'm doing is I'm collecting cacao pods from every single one of them. They pretty much have the same harvesting season, and then I'm doing the fermentation, the drying, and all the chocolate making process myself. So with the knowledge that I had at the farms, I brought this to Miami, and with local cacao beans, I've been able to make right now 4 different batches of chocolates. At some point we're going to have a tasting. It's going to be 100% local cacao. And what we've been doing in every single tasting is changing the fermentation a little bit, okay, just to enhance it and to obviously to it's a learning process because it's a local fruit that it tastes completely different. It grows in a different environment, not the ideal. I mean, it shouldn't grow here, but it's actually happening. Actually, my business, Cacao Chocolates, became the first business within the continental US, you know, making its own cacao from local beans. And it's because of the fermentation and the drying and all the process that we're doing ourselves. Okay, so I guess, I mean, it pays a price to go to spend time with the farmers, learn there, and ask a lot of questions. Obviously, speaking Spanish, which is my main language, you know, helps a lot when I travel to these farms, you know, because we get along pretty well, and I get to ask as many questions. I'll bring back that knowledge, you know, to use it here. And hopefully, I mean, a lot of people, especially from out of town, know Cacao Chocolates because of this project. And hopefully soon we get to talk more about this and definitely, you know, share. You guys can taste a little bit of the local cacaos here.
Awesome. And we had another question about the seeds. What can we do with the seeds, and could they be planted to grow something?
Unfortunately, the ones that you have right now are fermented and dried and roasted. So by now I mean, nothing will come out of that. You can keep it as a souvenir. You can actually, what you can do is you can crack it, break it, remove the shell, and taste the inside, which are the cocoa nibs. Okay, if you have 2 or 3, you can do is maybe with a mortar, just press it down a little bit, add a couple of grams of sugar, and do like a little paste. That's going to be the roughest chocolate, but you're going to make it yourself.
Well, nice activity. And with that, I'm going to take the opportunity just to, you know, wrap things up and tell you again, thank you so much for educating us and making it fun. And also for what you do. You're an excellent business owner. Very impressed about that. Everybody, if we could just give a round of applause for that presentation.
No. Thank you. Guys, no, I mean, I'm here for whatever you need, and for the rest of the team, if you guys like this, I mean, just don't thank me, thank Eddie and David. I mean, they're the masterminds behind this event, and thank you for the trust. And definitely, you know, it was a large group, and it's an honor for me in front of you and sharing what I do for a living, sharing what I love the most, and, you know, answer all the questions. That's what we're here for. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. We look forward to working together more. And, you know, to everybody else, all the teachers that joined us today, again, thank you all, you know, for what you do and sticking with us throughout the whole year with the program. You know, we look forward to a lot more, and just don't forget about those end of year surveys. And you know, we're looking forward now to a nice restful summer to recover from it all. So this way to end it, Ricardo, with your chocolate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Okay, have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone.